It's an interesting topic brought up by Kevin Flaherty of 24/7 Sports. Kevin's he was Texas-based at one point. I think he might still be Texas-based. Anyway, 24/7 K Flaherty 247 is the Twitter handle. But he tweets last night, quote, testing a theory. If your alma mater /team you root for could add one player from its history onto this year's college football team, who would it be? So it's interesting, right? So if we were talking about Iowa State, right?
The only answer is Troy Davis.
Right.
That's the only answer.
You would add
any
Troy
other
Davis.
answer, and you're an idiot.
There's actually, we're getting to one because we're going to do this for all 12 FBS teams. There's one that is very similar to that for one of these. But anyway, yes, for Mizzou, because the one thing, because I went to Mizzou, the issue is, normally I'd say Brad Smith because Brad Smith is wonderful.
Right.
But they don't really need Brad Smith because they have a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So I would maybe go with Jeremy Maclin.
Okay.
Or maybe like Martin Rucker, if you remember those tight ends. It was awesome. Anyway, so
Chase Kaufman, man.
Oh, Chase Kaufman was so good, dude. They had a run of tight ends.
They did have a run,
and they
of tight
still do.
ends.
That Albert O guy is really good.
Right.
I don't know what it is. Tight end U. Anyway, point is, we decided to do that for the 12 FBS teams.
Right.
And we are going to. And so I took into account not only obviously they want a great player, right?
Yeah.
You want an all-time great player in your program's history, but also what these teams need in 2019. So we'll go in alphabetical order.
Although sometimes you just don't have a choice.
Sometimes
they may be
both.
3 deep at it, but if you don't pick that guy, you're crazy.
That's exactly right.
You are loco.
With Baylor, we're going in alphabetical order by school. I'm going Mike Singletary.
Okay.
You can always use a standout defender, especially at the linebacker spot. Feels like he would fit right in, give him that edge that they need on Baylor. Mike Singletary, need a Hall of Famer. I would put Mike Singletary back on Baylor. For Houston, I'd just give Ed Oliver another year of eligibility.
Right, yeah.
Because the thing is, you could go, they have a Heisman. You can give it to Andre Ward. Yep. But, with all due respect to Andre Ward, De'Aaron King's really darn good.
Yeah.
You don't need a quarterback.
No, you're right. I think that's the right call.
So instead, if you want an impact defender, well, here's Ed Oliver just sitting there. I would go with Ed Oliver as my pick for Houston. North Texas. This is another kind of, I think, obvious one. Even though I think their defensive front could actually be pretty good. Yeah. If you don't go with Mean Joe Green,
what are we doing?
What
here?
are you doing?
Exactly.
It has to be Mean Joe Green. I would add on to North Texas. For Rice, this was interesting. I'm going to go with Jarrett Dillard. The receiver from Rice, who of course was on those teams earlier in this decade that were so good, a breakout receiver. I think that having that kind of guy who can be your true number one receiver could do big things for Rice. I like Jarrett Dillard for Rice. All right, SMU. Another team that we could go a few different directions. Obviously, SMU has a great history, but let's not think too hard. Let's go with Eric Dickerson. Yeah. Eric Dickerson gets put back on SMU, and suddenly the running game alongside Shane Buechele gets really, really good. So I would go with Eric Dickerson. For TCU, whenever we talk about TCU, what are we're talking about what they need this year. We're talking about, boy, if they only had a quarterback. Well, I would say maybe a Rose Bowl winning quarterback. Maybe. Like Andy Dalton, I think could help. Although, they've got their options as well. It was
you could argue that, well, I'm trying to think. No. I'm going to assume that Andy Dalton today in the offensive style they're running is still the best quarterback that they could do. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, you're probably right. That's what I'm going to say. Final answer.
Yeah, but you're probably right. The only thing that you could say is that, like, if you go back way in the early days of
you know where you're going. This is exactly what I was thinking.
Go with like Kai Aldrich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
you go with that. You could
way back in the day.
You could go way back in there and find a guy who's like, you could go with Bob Lilly, right? Right. And he would be great as well. Yeah. TCU's actually got a really, really good list to choose from. But my pick would be Andy Dalton because I think he's played the modern game.
Fair enough.
Texas. I love Keontae Ingram. But if you have the opportunity to get either Earl Campbell or Ricky Williams, you just do it.
Yeah.
So I would say either Earl. It's tough. I'll probably go with Earl Campbell.
I would go with Ricky Williams. So we can split the vote.
That's fine. I think either way, you're going to do one of their Heisman winning running backs. A&M. I also think this is easy.
I think I'm with you.
It's that win.
Yeah.
It's that win. You want to? I mean, they have some questions at the linebacker spot surrounding Buddy Johnson. You plug that win, like maybe their all-time greatest defender outside of Myles Garrett, onto that defense, and suddenly you're feeling really, really good. I would go with Dat Win, and the leadership he would bring. I'm going with Dat Win for A&M.
Shot for Tommy Nobis. I'm not against it. And Ed McElroy going back. He's Sammy Baugh. If you really wanted to go back, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, Sammy Baugh would be a good pick too.
Yeah, but I think Andy Dalton is still the right answer.
I think any of those would be fine. Yeah. For Texas State. Much in the same vein as I went with Iowa State. This is very clear. I don't care. Barrick Neely is going to play for Texas State.
How dare you slander Claude Mathis's name like that?
I love Claude. Barrick Neely forever. I am the biggest Barrick Neely stan. He's like an assistant at UTEP now, and like we follow each other on Twitter, and every day I'm like, I can't believe Barrick Neely follows me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyway, Barrick Neely for Texas State.
Yeah.
Texas Tech needs some help on defense, right?
Probably, always.
Zach Thomas.
Yeah.
Put Zach Thomas in the linebacker spot. Brings that edge, brings that toughness out there to the South Plains. I'm going with Zach Thomas for Texas Tech. UTEP. There are two recent obvious ones. You can go with Will Hernandez, right?
Right.
Or you could go with Aaron Jones.
Yep.
Either of which would be great choices. I'm going to go with Quentin Demps. Put him on the defensive side.
Yep.
Get some help on that defense. I would say you go with Quentin Demps.
Okay.
UTSA is tough, okay? Because on one hand, they desperately need offensive help. Desperately. But who do you go with in the history of UTSA? In the end, I said let's not overthink it, and let's go with the best player they've ever had.
Right.
So Marcus Davenport is the pick for UTSA.
But they'd probably like to have Eric Sosa back right about
Eric
now.
Sosa would be wonderful.
They'd probably like
for
to have
them
him back
now.
right about now.
But I would say Marcus Davenport is my pick. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments.
These are good picks.
Of what you think. Which all-time alumni would you put on each of the 12 FBS teams in Texas for 2019?
I mean, the thing is, I like the Sammy Baugh pick, and if you want to go, you could go Doak Walker. Right?
Doak Walker,
you could go Doak Walker, but are you sure that they would be good today? Like, it's
That's
just so far back.
It is. I mean, like, you go. You can go with Davey O'Brien. I mean, you've got you've got dudes that you can go and pick that are like legends.
Yeah.
But the issue is that, like, if you were to put them, I'm going to say okay, it's like park adjusted stats, or it's like era adjusted stats, right?
Right.
It's like Babe Ruth hit 714 home runs, right?
Right.
He was unbelievable. But if Babe Ruth ever saw like a breaking ball, I feel like he would just swing out of his shoes.
A modern breaking ball.
Right, a modern breaking ball.
Not a bender.
Right. So we have to adjust for era a little bit, I would say.
Yeah.
Because plain and simple, football today is better. This is a hot take. Football today is better and more crisply played than it was in 1932.
Just a bit.
I'll just say that.
It is a fun thought exercise, though.
So there's that.